We're right in the center of the storm here with tennis going on here in Toronto, and the women are in Montreal. And we just saw Milos Raonic. He ended up losing, but he was on a pretty cool run here in his hometown. And he played at Wimbledon. He won himself a match there. But it's basically the going away tour here for Milos. Like he hasn't been playing in years. He's had so many injuries. But there was a time in his career where it felt like this guy was going to compete for slams. He made it to a final, but how would you look back on his career? If this is the end of the road for Raonic, how would you define it?
Well, first of all, I hope it's not the end of the road, because I think, the fact he hadn't played for a couple of years and then has come back and, as you said, played pretty well in the last month, including a real nice run up there this week before losing to Mackie McDonald, who's a solid player today. I hope he can play a couple more years. I mean, he's still relatively young. I mean, he's in his early 30s. You're seeing guys now play until their mid to late 30s. Obviously, with the injuries he's had, that's always a huge question mark. But, I love Milos. Obviously, as you guys may remember, my brother helped him that year. He did make the Wimbledon final, was working with him. So, he's very close with him. I got to know him a little bit through the Laver Cup when he played on the team for Team World a couple of years ago. So great guy, very thoughtful, intelligent guy. And obviously you've had some great success with Felix and with Dennis and Bianca, coming after him. But he really set the stage for taking Canadian tennis to the top of the game, to the top of the men's game. And now you've got a couple of great talents, both of whom are struggling, as we know, at the moment. So I hope that Milos can play a little bit longer. I mean, with his serve, and if he can, as we said, stay healthy, can he get back to a major final? I doubt it, but I think he could certainly get back to being, a top 20 type player.
I think, one of the things, Patrick, when you look at the career of Milos Raonic, is that everyone talked about the serve. Do we appreciate his game enough?
No, he was, he has an excellent forehand. He's a guy that worked extremely hard on his baseline game. I believe it or not, I actually think he worked too hard on it. I mean, I think he should have, just been more of like a John Isner type player. Go big on the serve, go big on the forehand, take more chances. Obviously, he moves a lot better than someone like Isner. And I think in some ways that maybe hurt him, because it's almost like he tried to become too well-rounded of a player. And a little bit, I think, went away from his strengths, which is just crash and bash. And, a similar thing happened to a great American, Andy Roddick, as well, who I spent a lot of time with in my years as the Davis Cup captain. It's almost like as he became a more well-rounded player, he became less dangerous, because he's never going to move as well as, Djokovic and Federer and Nadal and these guys. And I think Raonic fell into that trap a little bit, whereas, of course, you got to improve, different parts of your game. But I would have liked him, have seen him just become, an all-out aggressive player and just take his chances doing that. So we'll see if, he tries to do a little bit more of that. But, he's a guy that worked extremely hard on his fitness, on his body, and on being able to move around the court a little bit better. And I'm not sure in the long run if that was the best strategic move for him.